And welcome back. Okay, Cammie, as we stated, I've got a double feature watch
Not
list
just
today.
one, but two.
Not just one, but two, so buckle up because we're going in for a ride. Okay, so the first one is a Max original called Smartless on the Road. Okay, so Smartless is a podcast that's done by Will Arnett, Sean Hayes, and Jason Bateman, three notable actors. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, this is a real podcast they have on like all the major streaming, whatever you listen to your podcast
What do they
on,
talk
right?
about?
So essentially, for about, it's always an hour long, and for the first, like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes of the podcast, they just kind of like banter with each other because they've been friends for like 30 years, like legit friends outside of the business, whatever, right? And then one of the three of them surprises the other two with a guest, and it's always like a celebrity. So only one of them is in on who they're actually interviewing, and then they all three just chat with them. So
That's
take
fun.
that and then put it on the road because the three men went on tour back in January and February, and then they documented it. Now they've got this show on Max where you kind of watch them. And it's really interesting because you feel like you learn so much from them from listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Especially, as I said, these very like notable celebrities who have all had very successful careers in their own right.
Yeah.
You know, and then you learn so much about them on this podcast, and then on this documentary, you see them interact even more. And it's just so interesting, like how different they are, but how genuine they seem with each other.
Can they even be serious with each other? Like, I can't even picture that.
I don't think they ever are. I think that's the
Yeah.
whole bit. I think that's like their thing, is like they don't really take themselves too seriously. Even like when they're interviewing someone, they'll still take jabs at each other, even though there's totally a guest there,
Kinda
you
like
know?
us.
So, right, yes, yes. So when they went on tour, they went to like, I think 4 or 5 different cities, and they documented that. That's also a part of the podcast. So like, on my drive back from this weekend, I listened to the 2 that they did in Brooklyn. And so I know one of them was with David Letterman, which was kind of cool, obviously late night, and just has had such a really like good, strong career. And so it's always interesting because most of the time, someone they pull in has a relationship with them already, you know, so like one of these 3 guys. But anyway, I don't know, it's just kind of funny seeing these 3 celebrities on the road together. It's a good, easy watch, which is something I'm always looking for, something that's not too like intense, not something that's gonna make your anxiety or stress spike, but just
when
also
I watch
something that you
things,
can
I
laugh
want
at.
to laugh.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
To be lighthearted and just enjoy it.
Yeah, and like I said, if you genuinely are a fan of any of these 3 guys, I mean, you're gonna get to know so much more about them from watching this.
Oh, I love that.
From like the way they treat people, to the way like their weird eating habits, to the way that they prepare for things, to the things that stress them out, and then like also they made a pact that on the tour they were always going to share a suite, so they're also like staying together throughout the tour, and you kind of see that and like how that kind of works. And I don't know, it's really entertaining is what I will say, and I really like it. And like I said, if people haven't listened to the podcast, it's a great podcast to find. I know for me, I'm always looking for one, and I listened a while back and I couldn't get into it as much, but more recently it's been like my favorite thing to listen to.
And do you think after watching the actual series, do you think it'd be easier to watch or to listen to the podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Because you kind of picture more what's going on behind those scenes.
Yeah, I think so. And you have just more of an appreciation for them and what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I like that they're like, they say on the podcast all the time, they're like, we were never trying to get anything out of this. We don't need any more notoriety than we already have. But it was just like something goofy we started and it just blew up, you know? Exactly.
That sounds exactly like something that I would love, just to sit back, relax, and laugh.
Yes, so Smartless on the Road on Max. Okay, my second must-watch TV selection, must-watch today is season 3 of Only Murders in the Building, so take a look at this.
It's opening night, and a big star drops dead on stage.
Oh my God, my leading man is dead. Is this really happening?
Well, you know, who are we without a homicide?
NYPD! The killer is someone in this room.
My show is hanging on by a thread here.
Finding this killer is the only way you'll have a show. Want to make a podcast with me?
Oh my God, this is corny.
So
I know it is. Murder?
Yeah, murder. Look at this cast. They're all killers.
But who would want to kill Ben?
Maybe it was Loretta.
Please don't give up on me. I'm not good at table reads.
Storm's coming. Don't take us that for lobbing in the rocks.
She's a stinkeroonie. I say give her the bouquet.
Maybe it was Kimber, the TikTok addicted starlet. Does she do it as part of an internet meme?
Why are you saying it like that? I think I got a lead. Robert?
You're investigating with this guy?
So, Oliver and Charles, what do you talk about?
Murder, mostly. And how to connect to Bluetooth. We talk about that a lot.
we're onto something here.
But I need you to draw attention to yourself. That's no biggie. That's a smallie. It's a very small thing because that
Because it's a...
Your show is a death trap. Today alone, I almost died 3 times. Really? Hello? Oh, my God. I was trapped. Years went by. Do I have a beard? Is SNL still on?
You were gone for 20 minutes.
Theater is all about choices. What you share and what you hide.
It's a clue.
Those choices change everything.
We've got to get her talking. I can just girl talk.
Can you?
Yeah. You guys okay out here? Hey, Mama. Yeah, we're like, yes, at work and slay over here, like, yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
At least you had the consideration to keep the body out of the building this time.
You always know just what to say.
So is that the preview for just season 3?
Just season
okay.
3.
That looks even better than the first two
I'm telling you,
seasons.
I think I've talked about this show on Ozarks Live before, but I'm obsessed with the show, everything about it. I feel like people are always kind of intrigued to see how that dynamic between Selena Gomez and then Martin Short and Steve Martin will work. I think it works so well.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's one of my favorite
Steve,
dynamics on TV.
What's his name?
Steve Martin and Martin Short. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's so funny watching them because
Yeah.
you think like Selena's obviously, you know, she was like on Disney when she was younger and like just a younger kind of actress. Then you've got the other two who have been in the business for so long.
And have done a lot together, too.
Yes, and are best friends in real life.
Yeah.
And their dynamic on the show just works so well. Also, here's the thing, is that you've seen cameos on the first and second season from some kind of big names. Like Sting was a part of it, Amy Schumer was a part of it. But now they brought in even bigger names, like Paul Rudd is the main character this season. Meryl Streep is involved. So here's the deal. The first 2 episodes were released yesterday on Hulu. Jory and I, we got through the first episode, and Meryl Streep has a monologue within the first 2 minutes, and you are instantly reminded why she is one of the greatest actresses of our time. Yes, she is insane to me. She's so good at what she does, and I love seeing her in this kind of like very different role of a, you know, kind of like TV comedy shorter series, as opposed to a lot of these Academy Award-winning films that she does. You know?
Yeah, I love to see them on different pages and doing completely different kinds of work.
So it's incredible. And this is one of those shows where like after the first season, I was like, I don't know how they keep going from this because the first season was so strong.
Yeah.
But each season is kind of focused on like a different murder, if you will. So it's kind of like they just keep going with it. And it keeps working so like spectacular. I'm seriously, this is one of the best shows out there. I will fight to the death for it. So,
I love it.
But my other thing I always tell people, okay, and granted, do with this what you will, but Jory is like not a huge TV watcher. This is like one way we differ, and she absolutely loves the show. Like we watch every single episode together. Yeah.
But like I really want to, actually, I need to get Hulu back because I need to watch that.
Well, and it's you know, more comedic style, so these typically tend to be shorter. So a lot of these episodes are not like your hour long or hour and a half long that we're seeing streaming
that
move
could
into.
keep my attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just a really, really good watch. Also, for those that are familiar, Ashley Park is the one that they were joking about, like the TikToker on there, and she's like kind of a big up and coming actress right now too. Really well known for Broadway and some other movies that she's in right now. But so that's the thing is like I think there's a lot of really good faces in this season that will just entice people even more. And like I said, I'm always excited to see where the storyline's gonna go. So.
Steve Martin and Martin Short are like, they will never run out of comedy.
They're in a league of their own.
Like it's a whole another level.
Yeah,
you know?
the way they've held their own throughout their entire career and for their ages, seriously like astonishing to me. I absolutely love it. So. Only Murders in the Building, season 3.
I feel like you're going to hold me accountable because
no, I am.
You're
like,
very passionate
you need to go start
about
streaming now so that you can catch up to season 3. But
I'm
anyway,
what
Hulu
time do we get
now.
off? I'm on it.
I know,
now.
absolutely.
Thanks, Blake.